Testy. Ah. Oh man, the world's crazy. Everything's funny until it's not. Oh man. So apparently it looks like we're back to the class system, right? You gotta have your haves and you have your have-nots, and anybody who aspires to be a have, if he doesn't have already, he will be a have-not, because they'll make sure that you can't have to keep your have and make you a have-not. And if you don't have enough, they'll take the haves that do have enough to make sure they don't have enough, so they're not haves anymore, right? That's all these clowns, these elected clowns. That's all we have, are elected clowns. You know, and the scary thing about these people is they take themselves serious. So like I saw, you know, the Turd's buddy there, Trudeau's buddy, the criminal guy with the beard, right? You know, they're gonna go after anybody that causes hurt feelings on the internet. Stasi motherfuckers. What else? You know, seeing all those brave souls tackle that woman and rip her child out of her arms in Australia, so they could throw her in a van and slam the back door on her legs a few times. That killed me, man. That you know, that just totally breaks my heart. Seeing an old man being tackled by a big thug in a uniform, and literally, I mean literally, getting punched in the face like that by that big goof. The big fucking goof. Oh, so am I going to get cut off the internet now by Trudeau's Stasi fucking police because I might have hurt the big goof's feelings? Fuck, that guy's only a couple years older than me. You know, so all I got to say is, all you old boomers, you get back to working out, you get back to boxing, you get back to taekwondo, you get back to your martial arts, man. Get back into her, buddies. You don't got it, you get out, you walk, you run, you learn to punch. We have to defend ourselves. We have, if you can't trust the establishment that is supposed to be there to defend you and act it within a professional manner, and we can't trust the courts to do what is right, to serve justice, because it's all barratry, which is a legal word. It's actually an English word that crosses over into a legal term. Trickery, okay? We can't trust because you don't know what goddamn jurisdiction you're standing at, or in, if you're a sucker, and so you're trying to come across to people in black robes you think are judges, but they're administrative officers and not judges, and you're stuck within a box as a third person, as a lunatic, as an infant. And you don't even know where the fuck you're at, which is why, you know, I'm trying to, you know, get people sign up. I don't know how to put it in the description box on my phone yet, okay? But in my other shows, down in the description box, I have it there, jurisdictionary. You know, hit my link, sign up, and the reason I want you to hit my link is so that I get a discount the next time I sign up, right? And why did I take the course twice? I'm going to take it again because it just keeps me refreshed, and the old guy in Florida keeps updating it. But once you start to see how the legal system operates, how different jurisdictions work, you can stand. At least if you stand, okay, so they hang you anyways, it doesn't matter, they're gonna hang you anyways. But what if you actually get a man or a woman with honor at that bench? And I'm telling you guys, when a justice, one within the jurisdiction that can actually sees man at court, I've seen them. They go into honor to protect that man or woman's rights. But what the fuck do I know? I'm just an old biker, right? You know, I'm not fancy and blah 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 every day in everybody's fucking face, like some of these guys supposedly teaching common law. You know, I was watching one yesterday, and I look at Buddy's tablet, and I said, well, fuck, you don't want to use these words unless you mean these words. You know, and I've touched about that before. I'm going to get into the person for dummies again, because I want to cap on that. I watched my show later, and I think I had internet for 30 minutes the other day, so I quickly watched it, and yeah, I can do better. So, but what the fuck was I even talking about now? I'm just so upset, you know. The guy's 64 years old. Yeah, he had a warrant out for him. But just the fact that after the coppers beat the shit out of him, take him down to the cop shop, process him, and then he gets released on his own recognizance, shows you that whatever that fucking warrant was for was not serious. Okay? And so he wasn't like a wanted felon or a wanted, you know, a detriment to society, a murderer, a gangster running around Toronto with a fucking gun, thinking he's a man now because he can spew off bullets, talk shit, and hate people. Your buddy John Tory just seems to love that shit. Whatever. They're destroying our nation, okay? And if you are a nationalist, you're an enemy of the new Canada state, the Trudeau state. We have absolutely nobody to vote for. I've seen like what have I seen? You know, a couple like MPPs and one MP speaking out, standing up, bringing out, you know, the truth, and they're all being punished for it, except for, of course, Pierre, because he's just been after the Trudeau scandals, which are going to be much more. You know, have you seen the pictures of slavery in Libya? Okay, it's pretty straight up. You know, Libya's got slavery, and that's it, and that's all. So why is Trudeau giving your money to Libya? Because he might be, maybe, could be a fucking racist motherfucker. I don't know. But who's even writing their MPs? Just as a third person, just as an infant, just as a lunatic, as a citizen, because that's what a citizen is. The third person. You want to run around, oh, we the people, we the people, we the people. All you're saying is third person, third person. I'm a lunatic, I'm an infant. I'm a lunatic, I'm an infant. Because the third person is the one that's created by statute. It's a statutory person. So it's a creation of our creation. It's the lowest of the low. You don't get lower than that. You know? Let's see. When the Supreme Court of Germany decided that Jews were parasites. Well, that was a creation of the court. That was a creation of statute. That was a creation, you know, that was a third person. Are you a parasite? Is that all you are? Maybe you're a parasite. Maybe this is why, you know, the bigwigs, Tory and Ford and Trudeau and his bump fucking buddy there, Butts. Just my opinion. I don't know this to be a fact. Sure looks suspicious though. But that maybe this is why they hate you so much, because you're a parasite in their eyes, and you must be cleansed, and the cleansing and the list for the cleanse. And don't think that there's not a list for the cleanse. I mean, in one of my shows I showed you the military draw of the biggest enemies of Canada. And nationalists, no white nationalists, nationalists, white supremacists, Christians. Yeah, you're all parasites. And then my native buddy goes, he looks at me one time, he goes, what do you mean we, white man? I says, enjoy it while you can, because once they're done with me, they'll come back for you again, so don't worry about it. And this is the division, you know, you can create all this division, You know, you can get all your lunatics hating each other, right? Why? Because they're lunatics. They're infants. They don't know any better unless Papa Trudeau tells them. Right? The CBC and CTV and Global. Man, I can't believe these people. I just can't believe these people. Like, how do these folks sleep at night? Are they, you know, are these people grown in petri dishes in labs? You know? And then look like folks, you know, look like a man, kind of have the mannerisms of mankind, but they're actually, you know, AI petri dish grown fucking sci-fi weirdos. Because that's what it almost seems like. How can anybody not have a fucking conscience? Like, I've met people like that before, you know, and thank God they're very few and far between. But as they're sticking a knife in you and twisting it, right, watching you suffer in pain and this and that, where you can't, you know, your body's frozen, you can't do anything, right? Fuck, they just look at you with curiosity. You know, no empathy, no sympathy, none of that. So that, I believe, is what we have running the planet now. You know, we've got the technology, we have what we need to create a great and wonderful planet that's prosperous and produces and to keep nature and clean, and we have all that. We have all that now, and it wouldn't even be that expensive to do. But you know, no, they purposely don't wish to do that. They don't want you to prosper. You can't fucking prosper. You're a peon. You're a third person, a peon. Right? So, okay, so getting into this. So, yeah, so, you know, we get into the first person. Man, mankind, woman. Right? And the second person, the agent for man. Right? So you can have, a lawyer can be an agent. I mean, anybody you can give you, like, but anybody I or thou does wish to give authority, dictatorship over a part of an area of my jurisdiction, right, my natural jurisdiction, as man, I can authorize them, and then they can operate on my behalf as an agent. And of course, there's always a set, you know, it's all in a box. So here's what you can do for me, and that's, you know, that's your charter, that's your limitations, that's your box. Operate in that box on my behalf. And even then, within that box, you can say, well, be sure to get back to me if whatever, A, B, C, D, or E, right? So, not carte blanche, you know. Now, man can agent himself or herself carte blanche because you have the authority to, right? Now the lunatic, the third person, so the second person is they, right? So y'all know who they is now? They, okay? So if I act as an agent, I'm acting as they, I'm part of they, right? So, but if I'm a lunatic, right? If I'm an infant, if I'm that third person, that's a citizen. Now, a citizen only has the privileges, and I hate to use the word rights because you don't really have rights. You have the privileges of a right given and taken away. So, let's see. Let's just, instead of using the word lunatic for the third person, let's use the word people, because people fits right in to that third person, right? So people does fit into that third person. So we'll say people. People is the third person, the citizen, the lowest of the low. That which is created by statute, that which only has the the privileges and duties and obligations that are given to them by their creator, which happens to be they. They got their power from Tao and I to operate on our behalf in certain manners. Say, oh, I don't know, to govern public policy within a certain, a certain box as well. So we got, so when I wish to write some kind of document or notice or whatever, and I believe you are the man who acts as, acts in trust as, right? I'm talking to my fellow man who's acting as an agent. Now that title that man has is actually now the people, right? But it's a class system, so that title entitles that third person to hold a certain class as people, or as a citizen, or as a leader, or so that's also created spot. So you can have a man who acts as an agent, and then also steps into the third person to perform, because we gave that man or woman permission to be agents within the third person, which would be the title, right? So this is why when I write a document, I hold the man or woman liable, because that's agent and that third person cannot act out of their box. They can't act out of their box. If they do, now they're stepping out in their own say first person liability, their own personal liability, because obviously you're not acting as that agent. Obviously you're not acting as people if you're not operating within the mandate that we gave you to operate within. So now you're liable, right? Crown immunity may apply to the privy, right? Which means, in the third person sense, there is no rule of law, because there's no immunity within the rule of law, right? So there's rule of law on the common law, but there may not be rule, and there's rule of law with the agent, with they, because there's a contract there, but there may not be rule of law, or it doesn't look to me like there's rule of law when it comes to people, the third person, because how can the rule of law states that the law applies equally to all? Well, if the law doesn't apply equally to all, then obviously there's no rule of law, right? So that's the other reason I don't like being we the people, to me, we the people is an oxymoron. So there you go. You have your first person, your second person, your third person. This is what I know. This is what I see. This is what I believe. It is what it is. Take it for what it is. Let's see. So when I wish to sign a document, this is why I use the different styles to endorse a document, right? And if I write a document, I'm the one who can endorse the document. If you endorse a document I wrote, it's as if you wrote it, and now you're liable for that document. And this is why I tell people, do not template. Do not template. I was looking at that one. I was going to do a show on it. Somebody wanted me to do it. The internet's been down. Fuck whatever. Phone lines are down. But I was going to do it. That Irish woman that wrote whoever, the school board folks, trustees, and it was just gobbledygook. And so I wrote my own version of it, and I just haven't put it up yet. And I also wrote up some stuff for the folks in Quebec, right? Because obviously, you know, under the Emergency Act, where they have to pay attention to the Covenant of Civil and Political Rights, and they have to pay attention to the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, even within a state of emergency. And I've done it. I think I did a show on this way back, talking about the Geneva Military Manual. You know how the forces are to conduct themselves, even if they're, say, they've taken over an area, and what they can and can't do, and they really coincide. They really coincide. People still have a right. You'll find a resident is a place that is actually assigned to you. So assigned to you to stay, you know. And I know some people poo-poo the word resident or whatever, but I don't wish to be seen as a resident. It's just not my wish. You know, I have my castle, right? And that's property of I, and that's where I'm at. You know, if I was to reside anywhere, it'd be right here. You know, but anyways, no, nobody assigned this body to me. My Creator did. And my Creator with my authors, my author and co-author, Mom and Dad. So I guess I got off a little bit here, but you know, there's so much going into my mind. But this is just you know, check out the jurisdictionary. Go in my description, one of my other shows, 2 or 3 shows ago. Hit that button, sign up, man. You need to learn shit, my people. You need to learn shit. If you're gonna wait, actually, you don't. You know what? Let everybody do it for you. Okay? So let the funny little Jew there, Ezra, let him crowdfund for you. You won't have to do nothing. Let a lawyer speak for you. Go in there as an infant. Get off. Be easy. Head back to your mommy's basement. Play your video games. Pretend that the world is not in your hands. Pretend that you're the infant, and you have a god king named Tam and Ford and Trudeau, and those are all your kings, your gods, your creators, your, you know, yay. Yay. If that's what you're into, fuck you. You know, more power to you, man. Fuck. So yeah, I was getting to so the style of the way I sign stuff, because when I sign something as man, right, I always go to the bottom right. I don't like putting a period until the very end of my document, because the document is one, right? You know, if you go to a notary or something, you'll find the notary signs in the center as a witness. So a witness would be, you know, signed down the center of the document, the signature and the witness. You know, a judge will sign in the center as a witness. You know, somebody who's not in conflict over whatever the document might read. So that's the center. So like if I witness, I always witness in the center, no matter where. I don't care what legal bullshit, blah blah blah, but that's where I'll sign, is in the center. And I think most legal documents, when you're a witness, I'm pretty sure they have it in the center. But legal society is not your friend. Okay. Cops aren't your friend. They're not your buddy. They're not your pal. Right? Just go look at the video. It's on my Twitter. Because I retweeted, somebody else put it. I'm sure Ezra's got it up on his show now. You know, he must have. It's just shocking. You know, so the guy had a fucking warrant. I had an argument one time with, I think it wasn't JT, it was Shaman, right? It wasn't really an argument. These guys were doing law shows, whatever. So I'm just into it, and I like to listen to it. And if I hear something that wasn't correct or whatever, You know, I'd say, hey, you know, did you think about this and that? Not getting in anybody's face. And we're on some stupid WhatsApp group at the time. And I explained to Shaman, who's an ex-cop, right, down the States, I said, well, hey, you know, there's a couple of different cop manuals, right, on how they're supposed to conduct themselves. So I mentioned something about, hey, you know, even in the cop manual it says this, how come you don't know this shit? And he puts in all caps, you know, oh, fuck, there's no cop manual, da-da-da. I'm like, what? So I sent him a copy of titles of 2. You know, I think I just took a picture of the 2 books and sent them back to him. And, you know, they asked me not to come on their shows anymore because I would ask critical questions. They gave me some excuse about how people just, you know, aren't smart enough to get it, so they have to instruct them bit by bit. You know, well, it sounds just like these freaks that are, you know, shutting everybody down for talking about Vaselines and Kung Flus and shit. You know, same fucking control freaks. So I never did ever go back on their shows or whatever. I don't know. I didn't mind that JT guy. He seemed like a pretty good head. But, yeah, that other guy, I just didn't give a shit. Yeah, it's not for me to give a shit. That's why I did a show on that Cross the Line guy. You know, up there preaching out of the back of his truck about common law, saying all the wrong things. Man, if you get instruction from people like that, and you end up at court, and you try to stand, and you try to stand, you're gonna get hung, man. You're gonna look like a fucking lunatic. Because we've all been trained in the mindset of the third person. We are all trained to be infants within within all these institutions. You know, there's an issue when you cannot hold somebody of of title to account for causing harm, loss, or injury to another man or woman, right? There's you know, and hide behind this immunity, and a lot of times you end up at court and they nickname you something else, you know, to make you pro se or whatever, to make you self-litigate, to make you look like a fucking lunatic, because God didn't create pro se. God didn't create self-litigant. They created it. The creation of our creation created it. Right? So that's just one of their trickery ways to get you under their jurisdiction and dictatorship. And every time you hear the word authority, put it in your mind, that's dictatorship. Okay? Authority, dictatorship. That's exactly what it is. So yeah, so everyone's trained to be the people, people kind, right? Okay, so now you know why Trudeau wants you to be seen as people kind, because now you don't have any standing. Now you have nothing, and even the rules created for people kind may or may not apply because those who created the statutes to create these rules can also break the statutes that they created, because it belongs to them. It doesn't belong to you. You know, I mean, if anybody digs into the charter, you get to the back of the charter, the Constitution 1982, you'll see some old folks acting as in trust created that document for the Corporate Trust Canada. I don't know these guys. How the fuck do they know me? And, you know, what gives them the right to tell me what rights I have and don't have? I have the rights that my Creator gave me. I don't like using the word natural rights, but I have my natural rights. And if you interfere with my natural rights, then obviously you're a wrongdoer, a manipulator, someone that partakes in barratry and trickery, right? You know, they had a name for you know, the type of cops we have today. They had a name for it back in the day. You know, road agents, bushwhackers, and that's what's going on. And obviously they're hiring. I don't know where they find these people to beat up, you know, little old men. You know, to arrest 90-year-old men, to handcuff little old ladies that need to take a rest on a park bench, not bothering anybody, to slam van doors onto a mama's leg as they rip her child out of her arms with the child screaming. Because of what? They didn't like what she was wearing as she walked down the street? Oh, so you can't voice your opinion through a document or a t-shirt? Guys, I'm from the 70s. The Prime Minister of Canada had a document that did this to Western Canada. He didn't get beat up. He didn't have his children ripped out of his arms. He didn't fucking, you know, didn't have doors slammed on his legs as the goon squad fucking, you know, mauled him and threw him in a cage. You know, whether it's a cage on wheels or not. We all had t-shirts. Disco sucks. That was one of my t-shirts. You know, Kiss sucks. You know, Question Authority was another one of my t-shirts. Actually, I want to get that. Actually, that's something I wouldn't mind doing for merch. Speaking of merch, I wish to do live streams so I could answer questions with folks. Help me get 1,000 subs. So it won't let me live stream off the phone. I can't live stream even with the phone lines up and the broadband working fine. I don't have enough to live stream from my studio, but I can off the phone if I had 1,000 subs. So I don't know. Share, like. Go on Twitter. Go on Twitter. When Parley comes back up, go on Parley. And you know, just let everybody know I need 1,000 subs. But then I can actually converse with you over this stuff instead of me just babbling on my own, you know, my own whatever it is, my own commentary, my own analysis. You know. And it's a lot more fun to converse with folks because it gets your mind working and stuff. You know, I may be thinking about, you know, something, and then, you know, somebody can come up with a question, and all of a sudden my mind just goes, oh, hey, yeah, blah, 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 that's a good question, right? So, first person, natural person, man, woman, basic, okay? I stick with the man thing. Because I know that I'm mad. And if anybody has a higher claim that's willing to, you know, testify at open court under oath or affirmation that I'm not mad, be free, come forth, drag my ass over there. You know, the artificial person, so the sui juris, you know, so I can be my own agent if I wish. And you know, there's things I won't talk about on this fucking platform about agents, but at the same time, you know, if you're signing a document, like I always qualify my signature, I'm always telling folks, qualify your signature, right? So if I qualify my signature as man, then that's why I've signed on the bottom right. So who signs on the bottom right? The creditor. That's right, the creditor. Who's the creditor of Canada? Us. Okay. The prosecutor can sign on, right? Okay. What is a prosecutor? Right. Well, the prosecutor is somebody who, you know, hunts. He's the hunter. He's going after something. Is it always a negative? No. The grantor I sign at the right, say I'm writing up a document to give you authority to act as agent on my behalf, right? Then I can sign it on the right because I am the grantor, and I can qualify my signature as grantor because I'm the only one who has a right to grant my rights. Okay, that's why I have no constitutional rights. I have no charter. It's not mine. They look all, peachy keen and fine and all that dandy stuff, but I'd never stand in court arguing about constitutional rights. How can an infant, how can a child, right, sit there and tell mom and dad what the fucking rules are? Well, too bad. That may have been the rule yesterday. Guess what? I just changed it. Now get your ass to bed. You can protest, but all you are is on the verge of acting like a little lunatic. Stomping your feet and crying and protesting, which might get you a timeout. And with these entitled persons, they got guns and cages and shackles. They'll give you a timeout. Because you're a child. You think like a child. You act like a child. You speak as a child. Therefore, you must be the third person. So signing down on the right, I'm the creditor. I'm the man. I'm the one who has the power to grant, whatever it is that my wish is. Because it's my wish, right? I am the author. Right? I am the author of those kids. And so it's my power to grant you to act as an agent within a certain dimension. And this is why, I'm always going on about this. People, let me rephrase that. Folks are not standing as on their rights. They're not standing, period. They're maintaining the position. They're doubling down in a position of the third person, of the lunatic, of the people. Why are you doubling down, tripling down as the people? You're just going to get your ass kicked. And some alien in a black robe, right, some agent is going to order that your property, which you never claimed as property, be taken and do whatever the co-parents say. And what's a co-parent? Somebody who acts as a parent, somebody who acts intermittently as a parent, a stepdad can be a co-parent. I think, what do they call it? Local parentis, I believe, is the legal term for it. So that could be a stepdad, that could be a teacher, that could be, and so it's actually an open document, and how that person acts is where they can be identified as the local parentis, like a co-parent, or say a stepdad, or an adopted, somebody who adopts a child, right? So we have these agents that are considered through the legal society as local parentis, right? And it's been going on for a long time. So obviously there's nothing, if you stand at court, because you don't want people to do these experimental surgeries on your kids, on your property, there's nothing there that shows that they don't have a right. All the evidence at court shows they have that right as local parentis, co-parents, right? And so this is what I see, that lovely lady, Laura Lynn Thompson, these folks don't get it. Now, if there's a document, I don't really use notaries much or whatever, because it's all been infiltrated. But if you have 4 people witness a document, so witness signature down the center, the grantor down the right, or the principal, or the creditor, or the prosecutor on the right, the witness on the left of a document. Okay, 3 is a notary. And you get 3 people to sign it that you don't hang out with and drink beer with, that you may see from time to time within the community. So it could be the guy over the store, it could be the waitress over at the restaurant, it could be the guy that cleans the highways here, So there's 3, and that's a notary right there. You go over to the post office, you have it date stamped, and now it's notarized. Well, it's notarized anyways without that, but I do enjoy using the date stamp, because the UPU, and if you ever download the UPU manual, right, Universal Postal Union's manual, you'll find out that the Postal Union, which is international, is awesome. They have all kinds of cool shit that you can use. If you have 4 signatures, that's a grand jury. It's a grand jury. I know one guy in England that overturned a default judgment by using 4 signatures on the document, sent it back. But I'm not gonna go off on that tangent. I might some other day. So you got as the grantor, right? Letting the establishment know, letting each man and woman who acts within the school board, who acts at the at the AG's office, who acts at the school principal, who acts as a teacher. You make up all originals. I love giving originals, right? If I need to make up 6 or 8 or 9, I don't copy anything. I write it down. Everything's by hand. Each one authored by me by hand is an original. Now go up to the post office, have them time-stamped, and send them to these folks. And if you wish to hand deliver it, you send it to yourself, and then you take it, and then you go and hand deliver it. Timestamp. There's a reason for that too, but I'm not going to get off on that on postal technology at the moment. So let's see what else. So now what is the jurisdiction that these poor folks are standing at, or in? Obviously in, because nobody knows the difference between in and at. But what is even the jurisdiction that they're at, waiting for the man or woman in the black robe to make a decision? Is that actually a judge, or is that an administrative hearing officer? You say, well, what's the difference? Hang on a second, I'm just gonna roll this window up a little bit. There we go. You say, what's the difference? Well, the difference is a hearing officer acts within, like, hearing officers is what you have in the military. You have a tribunal with hearing officers. So a hearing officer, say we're in a corporation or a society or an organization, and somebody breaks the rules, and then we'll have a hearing officer that settles the matter. Or if two folks within the society have an issue, then we have a hearing officer to hear it. Like government insurance, like here in BC, ICBC, they have a tribunal with the hearing officer, right? There is no more court. There's no traffic court. And traffic court is also a hearing officer. This is why traffic court can't see outside its legislated rules. They can't see a man. They can't see a woman. because they're not high enough. They're not there. They can't. They can't. You know, all they can see are drivers, right? Or lunatics, people, infants. You know, lowly officers of the administration. And so, what court are you at when somebody takes away your kid to go have experimental surgery done on them without you granting permission? Because how did they do it to begin with? Because it's presumed already legally that they are, you know, the local parentis, the co-parent. It's presumed that, okay? And so right away they act upon it because it's presumption, because you never gave anything up to break that presumption, right? Now, if you have given over the documents and let everybody know it's property, and here's what you can do with my property, here's what you can't do with my property as the grantor, okay? You know, so now they're not local parentis anymore. Now they're just agents, and now they have to operate within your whatever your rules are, because that's property of you, okay, or property of thou, right? Property of first person. So okay. Now you have something. Now there's no presumption. Now if somebody does wish to assume they have authority over your property, now they're liable. And you have your witnesses, your paperwork. And now they're open to be sued, because no one has the right to step out of the box of the mandate of the charter to which they operate without being held liable as the first person. Like that cop beating up that old man. Yeah, I was reading the criminal code about that yesterday, day before yesterday, because that's when I saw it yesterday. And yeah, it's quite open for cops to kill you and do heinous shit to you, but there is the one line, you know, only if you have to, only if there's no other way. I forget the exact terminology in the criminal code, but only if there's, you know, there is no other choice, right? You know, so this is why they shoot people in the back all the time. Well, they were getting away. I had no other choice. We as the grantors of this government, of this society, of this community, we need to be able to hold folks to account. And that should be our number one thing that we come down on all those public servants on. Being able to hold to account. Being able to hold the Privy Council, those who act within the Privy Council, to account about giving all our money away when we're already broke. Those who incite emergency acts with no emergency, they need to be held to account. The people need to be able, there has to be something, somehow, some way we can hold these fuckers to account as the grantors. Because that's who we are. We are the principal. They work for us. They are our employees. They are our infants. They are our agents when they act as such. And if they step out of the box of their agency. And no way should these folks be able to make up the rules. Like, how... Ay, Corona. How the hell do servants give themselves raises? It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. You know, it needs to be under the consent and permission of the grantors. Who's the grantor? Right? You and I. Thou and I. You and I. That's why I always use, I think I talked about this, where I just use the letter U. I got that from Lance. Yeah, I like it and it works pretty good. I'm happy with it. So as a grantor, I'll sign down on the right. I'll send off the document to whoever, whatever man and woman that acts within the public school board, to the attorney's general office, to lieutenant governor, whoever. Make sure the principal gets one. If I hand it to him, I bring 2 witnesses with me, so everybody can witness that he was served with this notice, so you can't play the duck. And then if your property disappears, if your kid disappears, to go have their titties cut off or their pecker cut off and filled with a bunch of experimental drugs and so on and so forth before they've had the chance to come to the age of maturity to make up their own decision. Then you have a suit, man. Then nobody can hold you to account. Yeah. Because it's your property. You have right. You have authorship. It's yours. Nobody's allowed to come and interfere with your property. Now legally, as a third person, yeah, because you're just an infant. I could see you using a toy dangerously and you're going to choke on it. I can come and take it away because you're an infant. And I'm either your agent or your co-parent, or I'm your author. Either way, I have authority over you, dictatorship over you, right? Or dictatorship over. See, I'm trying to stop using you because you is the second person. You is the agent. So let's just say I have authority over the people, right? That's why I don't like this people thing. If you can learn to read, to understand what you read, go read the Constitution. Go read right in the beginning. We the people explains who we the people is. Right at the very beginning of the document. Yeah, people is the third person. Yeah, so I can write myself a document, a notice, send it off, have it stamped. I could use a notary. I don't know how many notaries are willing to keep this on file for you, so it can be brought up to court, because the notary has 1 foot in the public and 1 foot in the private. The notary is an officer of the court, but the government doesn't, because of the freemen thing. The government doesn't like notaries doing anything, and depending on which province you're at or state you're at, depends on, they each have their own rules of notary, right? So I don't mind using the post office because that's in the UPU, and if somebody refuses to stamp my my document so I can send it, then I do a complaint. I do a complaint using the UPU manual. So, and things happen, man. Boom, boom, boom. Don't second guess that post office. No, do not. Yeah, that's international, man. They have a lot of power. Okay, so center. Okay, so left side. Everybody's always signing on the left. Everybody's signing on the left, right? It's funny, Nice legal documents. Everybody has you sign on the left. Sign on the left, okay? So you're looking at a debtor. A debtor signs on the left. A defendant signs on the left. Now, a trustee and an agent can also sign on the left, right? So you could sign on the left and qualify your signature as a trustee or the agent, depending on circumstance, if you wish, right? And so, what's a debtor, right? What's a defendant, right? It's not a good place to be. No. What's Lentz always going on about? I forget. It just kind of came and went, but whatever. Yeah. So look up the police manual and the conduct of the way the cops are supposed to. Salhani's is one of them that comes to mind. Police manual. So, yeah, it's a person in loco parentis. You know, a person who acts in place of a parent, temporary or indefinitely. Okay? Person who assumes the obligations of parent without adopting the child. Right? So this is that whole co-parent thing, and it's time you guys grew some fucking kahunas and let your public servants know you ain't that. Okay, well, you ain't that carte blanche, right? You don't just have, you know, no. Here's what you can do, and here's what you can't do. And also on your document, you can put on there, look, if there's an outing or something, you know, extracurricular activity, just inform me, and I will write a permission slip for you to take my property point A to point B and back. Right? So. The other thing, about writing notices, getting your head on straight, stop acting like a child as the people, is you need clean hands. If you've done all stand, I think that's what, isn't that how the Bible reads? Once you've done all stand, and so if you're standing at court, you have to have clean hands. You need to be there in good conscience, right? You know, there has to be good faith, and there has to be impartiality. And this is, like I say, when I've seen a man or woman at court and then watched the man or woman in the black robe recognize that man or woman, I've watched him go in honor and start protecting that man or woman's rights. I've seen it not once, not twice. I've seen it over again a number of times. It's an awesome thing to watch. You know, thank God, you know, I wish we had cops like that. You know, I wish we had agents like that, you know, running around acting as cops, because this pounding and beating on little old men. So I'm calling out all you boomers, you know, get back in shape, you know, get yourself ready. Wouldn't it be fucking embarrassing if some big 30 some odd year old thug like that guy that was on top of that old man punching him in the face? And that was only part of the video. We missed the first part where he got punched the shit out of him. And it looked to me like that dude was hanging on for his life, right? But you know, you got this big, wouldn't that be kind of cool? You got some guy 65, 70 years old, and a big thug like that wants to arrest him for, well, I don't know, you know, no mask or something, you know, or he has a warrant out for no mask or whatever. And the old guy kicks him in the side of the knee and punches him in the throat and walks away. Wouldn't that be funny? Now that's a film I like to watch. You know, not that I wish that to be upon anybody, but something has to happen here. Okay, just because you're a thug in a uniform with weapons doesn't give you the right to cause harm, loss, or injury to your fellow man. As a matter of fact, I'm sure in the charter of your office, your conduct is supposed to be above reproach. And we just don't see it anymore. But then again, everybody, all of society is running around like infants, like lunatics, like the people. And so you got everybody running around acting and thinking as infants. So now it's just like a big school playground. You got the bullies, you know, that hold some authority, some dictatorship over the schoolyard because they're the biggest, toughest, ugliest, dirtiest bastards on the playground. You know, something has to happen. There has to be a way to hold these folks accountable. Now, I myself, I believe in the written form. I believe in notices. I believe in communications. I believe that if there's a public servant like an MP that's off base, like right now that you know, we had an election. BC had an election. All right. Now he broke the rules. In the own rules, they're not allowed to call surprise elections. It has to be, it's a mandated set every whatever time, always. But he saw, one man saw that, hey, I can get away with breaking the rules. Well, whose rules are they? It belongs to them, doesn't it? And so he had a snap election. Now he went from a minority to a majority. Now, of course, all the other agents and infants are, we're all crying about it. But now he's, this, I forget his name. I didn't vote for him. But now he's trying to figure out a legal loophole to get around so they can shut down the border between Alberta and BC. I'm not kidding. He actually come out and said, yeah, he's looking for a legal loophole to figure out how to shut down the border. It's so stupid. Why would he do that? It's not because our buildings are overflowing with people in the hallways on stretchers, on gurneys, because they're not. I was just down the other day, not one patient yet, and that's regional. That regional serves, I don't know, 100,000+ folks. Not one patient yet. And even if we did have one patient, I've been to many hospitals where they were just overflowing, people in the hallways, with no man-made fucking extreme emergency that doesn't really exist. So, what I'd like to see though is us folks maybe start holding people to account for all the manslaughter that these so-called agents, these second persons, have caused. Because I'm sure manslaughter isn't in their charter. Anyways, so that's my second part of Common Law for Dummies. I hope you're getting a better clue on the persons. This court orders you to be here in person. Well, I am here in person. I just don't have a legal person. So you're going to have to deal with me as the first person, as man. That's all I have. Right? As a matter of fact, who's the trustee of this case? Well, that really gets attention. Because nobody wants to be the trustee. They're trying to hold you as the trustee. Yeah, it's too funny. Trying to hold you as the trustee, and being used proper this time. They're trying to hold you as the trustee, and so is they, actually. They and you. There we go. They are trying to hold you as trustee in the matter because you stepped out of the box. Right? Fuck me. All right. Well, God bless what's left of the free world. Hopefully folks can find their kahunas and stand. I don't know what to say other than that. But bless you guys.